Welcome back, Polar Warriors. Today we've got a really important topic, and it's going to center around what you value, your beliefs, and above all, what you're focusing on. Stay with me here. If you're truly doing something about the way you feel and you want to change your life, that's why you started watching this video in the first place, right? It might be a longer video, but once you've started something, it's always best to finish. So please turn your phone on silent, take a deep breath with me, suck in some of that awesome oxygen just for a second, and be present with me for just a little while today. Making these videos takes a lot more time than watching one, let me tell you, and I still do it because of my values and beliefs. I value helping others more than anything, and I strongly believe that I'm helping myself in the process also. Do you value becoming better? Do you believe with the right tools that you might be able to at least feel a tiny bit of improvement in your daily life? I really want to be outside right now, enjoying life and having fun, but if I don't first value or believe in getting over the hurdles that are preventing me from doing the things that I want to do in the first place, how can I realistically expect to get there? So once you figure out that you value or you believe in something, the next step is focusing on the things that you can do to get there. I mean, really focusing with all your heart and not just thinking, well, it's a nice idea to not be depressed all the time or not crashing so often. I'm talking about making a conscious effort every day to focus on moving in that direction. I'm going to be giving you lots of tools to do so on this channel, and probably only about the top 1% of people that watch this, and I really hope you're in that top 1%, are going to take notes, write stuff down, and realistically apply it to their life every single week or as often as they can. So be a polar warrior with me, and over time something really cool is going to happen. You're actually going to start creating new neural pathways in the brain. You're actually going to start creating new habits of behavior that are going to make your life full of more enjoyment and less suffering. But as long as you've been alive, you've been programming your brain and your mind and creating these certain connections or neural connections and paths and memories and reactions to life that have conditioned you to be a certain way. And we need to undo some of that conditioning. We need to get to the core of what's going on inside of us. So let's get to it. In addition to being severely bipolar, I have extreme chronic fatigue from getting mono a few years ago and basically never recovering from it. It's horrible. I spend so much of my own life focusing on being sick and depressed or feeling like crap, and I end up feeling depressed and sick and like crap. And it really... The depression just gets unbearable. Now, the feelings are so strong, it's hard to focus on anything else when the volume is up so loud on these feelings. When I'm crashing, it can get so bad where it really feels like I can't be reached or focus on anything. And at those times, I just need to be gentle with myself, let some time pass to where the feelings shift a little and then come back. Now, that could even apply to you watching this video. So if you're crashing right now and it's really bad, you could be in a mental state where no matter what I say, whether it's really good advice or positive or anything, it's still just going to sound like shit. So if that's the case and you don't feel like you're getting any benefit from something like this right now, you might have to change the energy, go on a walk, do something different, and then come back and try and reapproach it again. You really do want to be in a good state where you're open, and when you watch these videos, especially developing tools so you can learn new things and apply these things and change. Now, this especially applies when you're new to the journey. It could seem almost impossible to focus on anything else but the sensation of suffering. It isn't easy to start retraining your brain and recreating those neural connections. Cultivating that awareness is truly changing what you focus on or what you value, truly changing it, working on it every single day. And it takes a polar warrior to do that. Even if you have to go to the bathroom mirror when you're depressed and use your fingers to literally push a smile up on your face. At least that's a start. That's a step beyond doing nothing or focusing on the suffering. Now, that might seem dumb or silly, but just a little act of doing something that small when you're suffering starts slowly rebuilding our confidence back up and those connections in the brain that I was talking about. Another way is to recognize when you're focusing on, I feel like crap, I feel depressed, I feel sad, and change that thought cycle to positive incantations like, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get past this, I am not going to feel like this anymore. And it takes tremendous strength to do this, especially when we're suffering or when we're crashing. And it takes time to reprogram our brains. You can't just do it once and say, it didn't work, the video was wrong, that guy sucks, he can't help me. Come on. You have to change your focus, your values, and your beliefs over time, which requires a huge leap of faith in yourself and awareness to do so. But that's why we're here. I'm ready to not feel like shit all the time, aren't you? As Polar Warriors, we're on a journey to retrain our brains, whether it's through the help of medication, therapy, or things we can do ourselves, like watching these videos. Now, there's a few primary emotions that are masters at drawing that very important focus away from what we want or how we want to feel. One of the primary ones, of course, is fear or pain, whether it's physical or mental. I experience both a lot, or worrying about crap that we can't control. The body can do some serious mental gymnastics to get our attention to these sensations because of that primal fight or flight response that's in all of us. It's been built into us since the caveman days, and it's not going away anytime soon. So you could be in the middle of watching a show and have to rewind it because the mental noise from these distractions is so strong that you even missed what was just said. So the next really strong one would be addictions that a lot of us have, like craving nicotine or drugs or craving a drink. Basically the desire for immediate gratification or pleasure or distraction from the suffering. It's amazing. Like, I remember when I used to drink, I would, even if I felt like crap and I was exhausted, I would get up, get in the car in the dead of winter, drive all the way to the store and spend money that I didn't have just to get a bottle of alcohol, just to get that immediate fix or that immediate satisfaction. It was really unhealthy, but it was incredible how much motivation we can get when it comes from our addictions. But it's hard for us to get off the couch or just to even smile or even watch a video like this. It's amazing. It can be a really nasty cycle, and addiction takes our focus away from the present moment faster than probably anything. Another huge one is external distractions like other people's drama or suffering. It's so easy to get sucked into that because for a moment it might make us forget our own suffering, but we're still absolutely focusing. We're focusing, that's the key word here, on something that is not going to benefit our lives in a positive way. Just look at some patterns in your life. I mean, what do you watch on TV at night and how does it make you feel? Do you have nightmares a lot? Like, do you watch just horrible negative news all the time? Are you watching murder shows that show how somebody killed their wife and how the police caught them? Are you watching something that is just not good for the neural connections in your brain? Or do you listen to really angry music a lot? Or do you sit there and listen to someone toxic just do an emotional drive-by and just unload on you? That's just living a life of reacting to negative stimulus or reacting to people or your environment instead of cultivating your environment, instead of focusing on creating a better reality for ourselves. So how do we work on fixing this? On changing our focus and our values? I'm going to use an analogy from my life and my experience to get there, so stick with me. Try to stay focused. So I used to teach karate, and I remember to this day walking up the stairs to my first lesson ever when I was 10 years old. My first class, for some reason, I ended up sparring for the first time, my first night there, because one of the assistant instructors didn't know that it was my first class. And for those of you that have never taken karate, sparring means basically practice fighting with someone else. And I only knew a couple of basic blocks that I was shown at the beginning of the class, and I was doing my best to apply them when I was sparring, and this was somebody intermediate that I was sparring up against. I mean, it just wasn't fair, but that's life, right? When I was done, the assistant said, you know, don't worry, in about a month, you'll totally know what to do in a situation like this. And I thought, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to react like that so quickly. And he said, let me give you some advice, and this is something I'll never forget. He said, the reason why it's so uncomfortable right now is because of the fear of getting hit, or pain, basically, or not feeling in control and knowing what to do. You could learn every single punch in the world, but without quickly developing a defense or blocks, you might as well just stand there and keep getting hit. And what a fantastic analogy that is for life. I mean, we all do so great in an environment where we feel in control, or when we're manic, or when we have some tools to know what to do in an unfavorable situation. Like when we feel like crap or when we're depressed, we need tools to help us focus and change. That's why we're here. Just like I said, it's when we're standing there and we're just getting hurt and not knowing what to do that we lose control of the direction of our lives. And our fear can cause us to end up in the gutter, so to speak, or that endless cycle of just depression feels like it's impossible to get out of. So I asked this teacher, basically I asked him how to get good at blocking so quickly. And he said you have to absolutely focus on what is going on in the present moment. The second you start worrying about getting hit, you're already reacting too late. That's just, I love that. I'll never forget that. And just like in life, the second when we start worrying about the horrible things that happened in the past or the horrible things that might happen in the future, we start getting beat up mentally, and it takes cultivating huge awareness to keep yourself in the present moment, and many tools to do that. We're going to get into lots of them on this channel. For example, one of them I've already uploaded was a video on bilateral stimulation, which is just to try and get your mind back to the present moment. Anyways, right now I work for a company that teaches people how to fly, and it's amazing how many students will focus on a tree and they end up flying right towards it. So it's like whatever we focus on, that's the direction that our mind and our life is going to move in every time. It takes tremendous strength to break that habit, especially after so many years of focusing on the bad feelings or the depression. Again, to create these new neural connections in the brain that focus on healing or focus on little things that we like about ourselves instead of what we dislike, or to cultivate enough focus to put our hand up firmly and say stop to the negative wave of emotions before they spiral out of our control. We are extremely strong people as bipolar individuals, much more so than people who have an easy life or everything handed to them in perfect balance. It's not easy to get your black belt, but nothing I've ever achieved in my life that I'm extremely proud of was easy to achieve. You have to start out as a white belt when you first realize that you're bipolar, and every single block that you learn is a new tool to stop getting beat up by life. Tools like walking up to the mirror and making that smile when you don't want to push your face up, you know, or changing the focus of depression to healing. Now, don't get me wrong, the feelings aren't magically going to disappear just by wishing or focusing them away, but over time, with practice, you can learn to block some of the blows. Everyone learns at a completely different rate, and based on their experience or their severity of their bipolar experience. And my life changed the moment I decided to walk up those stairs and take my first karate lesson. And that was so many years ago now. Your life can change in the same profound way by just starting to switch your focus consciously. And by even watching videos like this, you're already walking up those stairs. You're already taking your first lesson. A little bit each day is really important. It's just like practicing a few blocks each day. Eventually you'll be ready to spar with the depression and not get hit so much. So another basic example, let's say you haven't exercised a day in your life and you go to the gym for 2 days. It's going to take more time than that to build up strength and flexibility and endurance to be able to change the bad momentum or the bad experience or habits and everything that you formed in the past into positive momentum, moving towards really good habits, or to a change in perspective, or focusing on the future. Your mind is exactly like this. It's just like building up these muscles. You have to keep taking your mind to the gym, or continue to watch videos, read books, seek out a therapist, and constantly focus on heading in that direction. Just like the pilot that focuses on the tree and will crash into it, other pilots will focus on the perfect landing and they just nail it. And I've seen this happen so many times, where there has to be something to it when it comes to the way our minds work with what we focus on. So back to my karate story. Amazingly enough, a month later, I was sparring the same student that I did that first night, and I really held my own just fine. And I couldn't believe it. I was a really wrecked, shy, introverted kid that already dealt with depression even at that time. And the same thing actually happened with depression in my own life. You know, I got so tired of getting beat up and hit that I slowly started changing my focus to developing tools to spar with my depression. And now I'm kicking its ass, or well, at least enough to be able to make videos and share some of these experiences with others. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been hospitalized so many times I can't even remember. I've cut myself. I've taken way too many pills. I've even been homeless, and I wasn't always like this. And the idea is to basically minimize, or to try and at least reduce the amount of times that these kind of situations happen. It took me years to get my black belt, and you know, or a master at my trade, and I would still get hit sometimes. It would just happen less because I had more tools to prevent that from happening. And I'm still working on getting my black belt in bipolar, because I'm focusing on that as my goal, and it's making a huge difference in my life just by focusing on that. That's my interest. I want to conquer this. I want to get better. I don't want to suffer like this anymore, and I'm focusing on that. That's why we're all here. And hopefully you are too. Hopefully watching videos like this on this channel can do that for you, or at least make an impact. If you're tired of getting beat up, start learning some blocks and then practice them. You have to practice them. Change your focus. As the channel grows, it's going to be full of lots of different types of tools or blocks that you can use. I had to practice every day to get as good as I was at karate, but I was so driven and focused because that's what I valued and that's what I believed in. If you truly want to live a life with less suffering, even if it's unbearable sometimes, those are the times that you're going to learn the most by cultivating your focus. It's like a test. It was like sparring that intermediate student on my first night. It was really hard, but I learned a really valuable lesson. And especially like when I'm at my lowest or struggling the most. If you spend just 15 minutes a day trying to change your focus, eventually you're going to get to 30 minutes a day. And 30 minutes a day over a year is 182 hours if I did my math right. Can you even imagine what 182 hours of training can do to you in just 1 year if you just change what you focus on or what you value in your life by wanting to improve and actually doing something about it, focusing on it for just 30 minutes a day. So that being said, I want to invite you to walk up those stairs like I did and start learning your first blocks. Even though it's scary, I was so scared to walk up those stairs and do something new and different for the first time, to go into uncharted territory with my mind and body. And you might rather spend your time watching the news or your favorite drama, but how much do you want to end some of your suffering? That's why you're here with me, right? To get some tools to see things differently, or to make life a little bit more bearable when it gets nasty. Please keep coming back to Bipolar Warriors for more bipolar karate lessons. it could really be worth it. So the next time you find yourself with mental noise that is so strong that all you hear is, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, change your focus, change what you're focusing on. Even the word depressed, if you break it down, it sounds like deep rest. Change your focus on even what that word means. When you hear depression, think to yourself, I am in a deep rest right now. My mind and my body is just really low, and be okay with that. Be gentle with yourself. And then start focusing on different thought cycles. Start reprogramming and recreating those neural connections in your brain by saying, I'm getting better. This will pass. It's not that bad. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get through this. Even if you don't really feel the things that you're saying, your mind is subconsciously going to pick up on this positive thinking or these different thoughts instead of life sucks, I hate myself, I'm depressed. If you can just make that focus or that shift in focus to change that constant thinking that we all do, that negative thinking that is so self-destructive, into something positive, you really have a chance at becoming a black belt in bipolar, or to join the Polar Warrior Club. So thank you so much for being strong enough to be here with me, for taking the time to even make it to the end of this video. That really shows that you're in it for the long run, that you're here to try and make some positive changes in your life. And I encourage you to keep coming back. There's going to be a lot more really good videos. So please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And it also shows your support for what I'm doing with this channel. It really does help motivate me when I see that people are moved by or encouraged by what I'm doing and all the time I'm spending here. So thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next video.